Hello again, everyone, and thanks once again for joining us for this Thursday's edition of Alaska Weather. On this 5th day of November, 2020, I'm Dave Percy, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service, and I'll be hosting today's show. First, big storm coming into the western northwest part of the state today, along with pretty strong wind gusts. These are peak wind gusts reported during the day, earlier in the day today. Cape Lisburne up there on the western Arctic coast, 93 mile per hour peak wind gust, and then farther down, Cape Newenham, 82 miles an hour. Tin City reported 74 mile an hour wind gusts, and then Red Dog Dock, not Red Dog, that's inland, but that's right on the northwest coast there, 72 miles per hour. So pretty strong winds, and places like Nome had winds gusting to near 60 miles an hour. And Bethel, Marshall, about 55 mile an hour in the wind gusts, and Kivalina also 55 miles an hour. And even all the way down into the eastern Aleutians, Ahkun Island had wind gusts to 60 miles an hour, even down where the front was weaker. On the hazardous weather graphic, there's a coastal flood warning out for the Yukon Delta coast, the Kuskokwim Delta coast, and St. Lawrence Island, as well as the coastal areas, Bering Strait coast there, Norton Sound, north side. That's out for tonight into, until noon Friday, tomorrow, coastal flood warning. Looking for a 3 to 5 foot storm surge with that, and which could cause property damage in the intertidal zone of those areas. Otherwise, inland, we've got winter weather advisories there for Grayling and the northern Kuskokwim Valley into tonight, and then winter weather and wind advisories along the Alaska Range for winds gusting possibly as high as 60 miles an hour with some snow and blowing snow. Winter storm warnings, though, are out for this evening, early evening for the Seward Peninsula area, and then in toward Galena, and out for the Fairbanks area. They're looking for 5 to 8 inches of snow, and that kicks into effect Friday night through noon Saturday there, and looking at 5 to 8 inches of snow, maybe up to 12 inches, with blowing snow along portions of the Steese Highway, and also up over the upper Yukon Flats area. We've got winter storm warning out for later tonight and through the day tomorrow. Same thing for the southeastern Brooks Range. Winter weather advisory for the northeastern Brooks Range for lighter snow amounts and lighter winds. And then that's the brownish shaded area there, central and western Arctic coast. That's a coastal flood advisory is out for those areas, and there could be some minor beach erosion, minor flooding. Again, for the day, it kicks into effect tonight or tomorrow, early tomorrow, and continues through tomorrow night into early Saturday. And from there, southern Alaska escaping any watches, warnings, or advisories there. Front really weakening as it drags eastward, but again, still held together enough to bring 60 mile an hour wind gusts to the eastern Aleutians today, and breezy conditions also for the Alaska Peninsula. Rainfall amounts about half an inch fell at Cape Newenham there before the front came through. You can see starting to clear out there along the southwest coast as the front pushes eastward, and that pushing some light snow into the central Tanana Valley, Fairbanks, and extending back to the northwest there. Anywhere from several inches to just about nothing, kind of quite varied on the amounts there. Of course, the mountainous terrain seeing more, and then some areas are really barely picking up a quarter of an inch. But the wind's more of a factor, again, with 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts edging their way eastward in toward the west central interior. Still light over on the east side, just a general increase in cirrus for the eastern part of the state over into the Yukon. And same thing there for the eastern North Gulf Coast. Some cirrus starting to close in or bear down on the Yakutat area. And the Panhandle, some clouds and showers over the southern areas, but not too bad at conditions there with a trough kind of sliding on through. But back to the west, the main low center pulling up into the Russian Far East. So that front's going to weaken considerably tonight it's already starting to show some signs of breaking up there as it pushes in toward the central interior, dragging back along the eastern Aleutians. And lighter wind conditions there for AKwx. Atka picked up about an inch of precipitation with that, so it was a good fair amount of moisture coming up from the southwest along with the warmer temperatures. And that's following the occluded front end. Nome was up to about 41 degrees this afternoon. It's starting to fall a little bit there, but still just under 40 degrees. Rain, St. Lawrence Island, rain over the southwest interior. There's been kind of a sharp contrast in temperatures. And, it was still below zero into early afternoon for the northern Kuskokwim Valley and even into the Tanana Valley. And for the chart, you can see that tight gradient there along in advance of the front, mostly from south to north. The lines drawn in advance of the front, still pretty tight even behind the front, but more of a southwest-northeast trajectory there for the winds. Snow and blowing snow edging its way and increasing eastward and northward. And kind of a narrow line of mixed precipitation that gets into the rain there, Seward Peninsula areas, and that extends on down across the southwest coast, southwest interior, Alaska Peninsula into the eastern Aleutians. But not a bad day, kind of breezy for the Pribilofs, basically dry. A few showers there possible, but I see some clearing down over the central Aleutian areas, AKwx and Atka. And high pressure still in over the Yukon, giving some pretty gusty north winds through the Lynn Canal area today. And lighter winds down to the south with some shower activity over toward Hyder and Stewart with that weak trough and the low center that's over the British Columbia area. And otherwise, the downsloping flow off the Brooks Range resulting in some clearing skies. Definitely dry. A lot of cirrus, though. It's not actually clear skies, but VFR cloud type clouds there for the north slope, especially the eastern north slope on out to the Arctic coast, with the southerly flow there keeping or pushing that band of light snow off the coast. But more will try to push in, but with that pattern, don't expect too much on the north side of the Brooks Range on out to the Arctic coast. And for tonight, you can see that front really does break up quite a bit. The low center pulls in over the Russian Far East, slowly weakens, but good southwest flow all the way across the Bering Sea from the Komodorsky, Shimiat 2 area right on up into the interior and the northwest interior. That's going to push the snow into the central Tanana Valley and actually make its way all the way over to the eastern border toward morning. Eagle all the way down to Northway and Tok will see some snow before daybreak tomorrow, or probably before 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And a band of snow showers will probably will make its way onto the eastern Arctic coast as well. And then snow and blowing snow over the central and northwest interior. Mild southwest flow, mixed precipitation there in the pink shaded area from the northwest coast. And whatever falls over the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta tomorrow or for tonight won't be much at all, but it'll take either rain or snow as its form there. And rain, southern Kodiak Island, with that weak low center forming the Gulf of Alaska. And the front, kind of the south there, heaviest precipitation will be mostly to the south, but look for some periods of rain, light rain for Kodiak Island. And rain and fog and drizzle there over the western Aleutians. Otherwise, the Panhandle, light winds lightening up for Lynn Canal, practically going calm almost there with lack of a gradient and mostly clear skies and a pretty chilly night. And then tomorrow, some leftover moisture will slip on in to the coastal areas in the form of rain or snow. Could see some light snow over the northern part of the Panhandle and dry down to the south, especially toward Dixon Entrance. Copper River Basin looks dry. And again, surges of moisture rolling northeastward in that southwest flow brings surges of snow and blowing snow into the central interior. That will get kind of blocked by the Brooks Range there, and just some isolated snow showers to the north slope on out to the Arctic coast. Maybe a little bit better chance, say, from Point Lay down to Cape Lisburne and Point Hope. Also, pretty strong winds will continue up in that area. Probably won't see the 80 to 93 mile per hour wind gusts you saw today, but still could see gusts anywhere from 40 to 65 miles an hour with that gradient. The normally windier areas there. And mixed precipitation, mild for the Seward Peninsula. Could be just flat out rain, actually. And Norton Sound down along the Yukon Delta. Could see some sunshine for the Kuskokwim Delta and snow showers for the Kuskokwim Valley. Chance of light snow comes across mainly northern Cook Inlet and the Matanuska-Susitna Valley, one surge tonight, and maybe some leftover showers tomorrow with another weak surge. And otherwise, not bad. Look for some sunshine, diminishing winds to the Pribilofs. A nice day for AKwx and Atka. Chance of light rain, fog, and drizzle, eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula. With that band of moisture, really not a front, just the wind flow circulating over the top of that strong ridge that now the center's off the chart there, but it did link up with the remaining moisture of that front. So clouds, rain, fog, and drizzle, southern Kodiak Island. That'll slide mostly off the southeast coast. And then a weak front with some light rain over the western Aleutians. Outlook for Saturday, that front just weakens into a trough and keeps it kind of damp and unsettled for the Aleutians in central and southwest Bering Sea. Probably a dry day for the Pribilofs, at least midday into the afternoon, and definitely for the area from Atka over toward Nikolsky. Unalaska, pick up a chance of rain. And also for the Alaska Peninsula, that next low center driving northeastward, that's going to bring gale force wind, good gale force winds, possibly storm force winds ahead of that front with rain heavy at times. Kodiak Island, that's going to be working into southern Cook Inlet, the Kenai Peninsula, especially Kamishak Bay, and dry over the central interior. High pressure makes for kind of breezy in some channeled areas there, but dry conditions and cool temperatures. Chance of snow north slope to the Brooks Range. And lows for tonight, still below zero, a little below in the central interior, and anywhere from 5 to 15 below over toward the eastern border, but much milder out toward the coast, mid to upper 30s there, St. Lawrence Island, as well as the western Seward Peninsula, looking for a low at 38 for Nome, and then anywhere from 8 degrees, say at Skagway and Haines, to 26 degrees down at Klawock. Upper 30s Kodiak Island, 10 to 15 south central Alaska, still below zero Copper River Basin, mid 20s around Homer, and near 40 for the Aleutians and the Pribilofs. Highs for tomorrow looking warmer, especially out west. You can see mid 30s into the Kuskokwim Valley now, mid to upper 30s into the west central interior, falling back to about 31 at Ambler, mid 20s central Arctic coast, upper 20s east side, and near 40 for the western Arctic coastal areas, lower 40s again for Nome. Mid-20s northern Panhandle to near 40 along the southwest coast, and mid to upper 20s south central Alaska, but Homer could push up to 43 and maybe 40 for Seward, and about 45 for Kodiak. That'll be followed by a low on Saturday morning of 38 there, but still mild over the central interior and teens in the lower 20s south central Alaska. And then the highs Saturday afternoon. Upper 20s northern Panhandle, upper 30s south, and teens in.
And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
First flying weather graphic tomorrow morning. A lot of IFR coming eastward right into the central, and in some cases in the eastern interior, especially north of the Alaska Range. And definitely IFR rolling into Cook Inlet and the Susitna Valley, and eventually maybe even the western Madanuska Valley. But Copper River Basin, marginal VFR on the increase, mostly in the western areas. IFR, Prince William Sound, North Gulf Coast there to just east of Cape Yakataga with marginal VFR, the Yakutat, Elephant Cove, maybe Sitka, and then otherwise VFR for the southeast coast. Most of the north slope looking pretty good with IFR from about Point Barrow right along the coastline, and then southward to St. Lawrence Island. Southern Bering Sea, Pribilofs becoming VFR, and that extends eastward to Kodiak Island with good VFR, Adak and Atka, Amchitka, Kiska, Shimianat too for the afternoon. IFR now into the central southeast coast with marginal VFR back to the northwest of Yakutat and then on down to Dixon Entrance. VFR though, Copper River Basin and northern Cook Inlet, Madanuska, maybe the Susitna Valley, maybe the Madanuska Valley will be marginal. Up to the Alaska Range, and IFR, most of the Kuskokwim Valley, back out to the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, Norton Sound, Seward Peninsula. Northwest Coast, IFR, and then eastward there, and expands over the central interior. Greater Fairbanks area, still in the IFR zone. That extends right up to the Brooks Range, and some IFR on the central Arctic coast. Now IFR back in over the eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula, spreading into Kodiak Island, so deteriorating conditions there throughout the afternoon hours, especially southwest side. And Pribilofs stay VFR down to mostly Adak and Atka, Shimianatu. For Saturday morning, a big batch of IFR there for the areas from Atka right on up across Bristol Bay and most of all of Kodiak Island and part of Fognak Island. Marginal VFR, Cook Inlet, Kenai Peninsula, up into the Susitna Valley, and right up to windy Pemmican Denali. It should not go across the mountain range there, so it'll be VFR, Tanana Valley, Upper Tanana Valley, 40-mile country, into the Copper River Basin, and the Panhandle, marginal VFR right along the coastline, and the northern Koyukuk Valley, northern Yukon Flats, the Brooks Range, IFR. North Slope, east side and central areas, VFR. And for the afternoon, IFR from Bristol Bay right up into the southern Kuskokwim Valley, all the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, western interior, pretty much IFR. That slides eastward there along and just south of the Brooks Range, northern Koyukuk Valley, marginal VFR along the Yukon Flats. And then the White Mountains into the upper Tanana Valley, into the Copper River Basin, VFR. Southeast coast, VFR once again. Marginal Prince William Sound, south central Alaska. IFR, Kodiak Island, Bristol Bay. Again, much of the southwest and western interior. And some IFR slipping on into the Pribilofs and marginal VFR, Adak and Atka. Otherwise, IFR for the Aleutians and south side of the Alaska Peninsula. For Anaktuvik, IFR, but better conditions out the northern entrance. Same forecast for Adigan. Lake Clark and Merrill, IFR, improving to marginal VFR by afternoon. Windy, the same trend there, starting at IFR, becoming marginal. Isabel, call it marginal the entire day. Mentasta, marginal, becoming VFR. Dry, less moisture as you head east there. Tanita, marginal, maybe becoming VFR in the afternoon. Portage, occasionally marginal. And for Chilkoot and White, VFR. Freezing levels, 2,000 feet. They're just south of Nunivak Island from St. Matthew Island, but south of Shimei and Attu, but that extends eastward across southern Kenai Peninsula, Kachemak Bay, and then well to the southeast, staying off the southeast coast. 4,000 feet, eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula. Icing, moisture streaming east and northeast, and mostly east there. So a batch of considerable moderates slipping on into the north-central interior there. And then improvement back to the southwest, and it looks like a band of potential icing in eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula, Kodiak Island. And some icing mostly off the coast of the Panhandle, and then another batch out there over the southwest Bering, western Aleutians. Jet stream, strong jet, high to the south there, 150 to 160 knots. Southeast Bering Sea turning northwest, 140 there over the northern Panhandle, 9,000 feet. Westerlies 55 to 65 knots, turn northwest over the Panhandle. 3,000 feet, southwest 60 knots, Bering Strait, St. Lawrence Island, western Seward Peninsula. And turbulence-wise, with those strong winds, we're looking at a widespread area, considerable moderate turbulence below 8,000 feet, much of the interior there, west and north of the Alaska Range, eastern Arctic coast, and light to isolated moderate turbulence for the western and central Aleutians. Otherwise, Alaska Peninsula, southern Alaska, and the Panhandle, turbulence.
If you've been watching this series, you know that NASA has scientists posted all over the world studying Earth's frozen regions. We've got people exploring ice sheets, glaciers, permafrost, sea ice, snow, and even ice on other planets. But even our top scientists need a little backup sometimes.
I'm a scientist!
Do you like going outside to do science?
Yeah,
Why?
because it's fun.
Yeah. What's your favorite part?
Frost tube.
Frost tube! Cool!
In this bonus episode of Cryosphere, we're following the micro explorers that are helping NASA collect data from their own backyard.
Do you think it's going to be frozen?
Yeah.
Yes? Why?
Because it's very frozen!
Here's the idea. Students construct a frost tube that gets put into a hole in undisturbed and uncompacted soil. During the cold months, students will measure the depth at which water in the frost tube freezes, indicating that the surrounding soil has frozen. This is one of many citizen science projects facilitated by GLOBE, the Global Learning and Observations to Benefit the Environment program.
What's going on? What did you find out?
It's ice!
How far down is the ice? So is there still liquid in there?
It's a worldwide program that, so far, has collected over 130 million measurements from more than 10 million students in 113 countries.
Are you scientists?
Yeah.
These measurements are added to a massive worldwide database that's free and open to the public.
GLOBE connects my students with the rest of the world through science and looking at climate change and how it's affecting the future.
GLOBE teachers like Terry are transforming the way kids see science and how they'll respond to changes in their future environment.
Let me see your happy face.
Actually, we were so impressed with the kids of John Fredson's school that we decided to show their work to the scientists in the original NASA Explorers Cryosphere series. And they had a couple things to say.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Oh my god.
Do you like going outside to do science? Why? How far down is the ice?
That's awesome.
Wow, this is really, really cool.
Hey students from Miss Terry's class, I just got to see your video. I was so impressed that you guys were braving the conditions of the snow and all the crazy stuff to go and learn more about the permafrost and where the water layer is right outside your school. That looked incredible.
It is so exciting to see you guys and girls doing such great work as we watch our planet change over time.
Hey there, young scientists. Looks like you guys are doing some amazing things. Remember to keep warm and take notes, and also stay curious.
Oh my god, this is awesome. I love seeing the enthusiasm of these kids. They're outside, it's obviously really cold, but everyone is so excited to be out there making measurements for NASA. That's wicked cool.
Because you're so right, science is so fun, and I really hope that you'll continue believing in that. The best piece of advice I ever got was, whatever you do, do your best.
And from all of us here at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, remember, dare mighty things.
So keep up the great work. Make sure that you're having fun no matter what. That's the key thing about pursuing a career in science. Make sure it's something that you love. And I'm really impressed. So hopefully we'll take the lessons you're learning and apply them when we explore our solar system.
And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Welcome back. Looking at the sea ice analysis completed this afternoon, Thursday afternoon. Not a lot changed from yesterday. Still that thinner area there off the central and east central coastal areas, a little farther to the east than I think it was, especially on Monday. Otherwise, pretty good ice there on the east side, right into the coastline, and then a little bit more ice on the west side, but not much change from what you saw yesterday, and not much change into Kotzebue Sound or Norton Sound as well. Coastal water forecast for the, let me get this thing into motion here, and there we go. Small craft advisories on the south coast for west-northwest winds, 25 knots, seas 10 feet. Inside waters, central and southern, north winds 15 knots, seas 3 feet. Lynn Canal, north winds 20 knots with 4-foot seas. And southeast winds at 20 for the north coast, but toward Yakutat, small craft advisories, north winds still 25 knots, 9-foot seas. For Saturday, southeast 25 knots for the extreme north coast. Otherwise, variable at 15 for the central and north coast, and then north 20 for the Prince of Wales Island stretch there, of the outside coastal water zone, with seas up to 10 feet and 20 knot winds out of the north. Stevens Passage, northeast winds at 15 knots. Clarence Strait, north winds at 15. And Lynn Canal, north winds 20 knots, seas 4 feet. Prince William Sound, light north winds tomorrow at 10 knots, north 20 knots, eastern North Gulf Coast, and then we've got westerly winds at 15 knots for the western North Gulf Coast, the Barrett Islands, and Kemichak Bay. Southwest 15 for southern Cook Inlet, northern Cook Inlet, northeast at 15 with 3-foot seas. And then for Saturday, Prince William Sound, northeast at 15, seas 3 feet, and east winds 20 knots for the North Gulf Coast, 5 to 6-foot seas. Small craft advisories, Barren Island southeast at 30. Also small crafts for the Kamichak Bay area east at 30 with 6-foot seas. And also small craft advisory, southern Cook Inlet, 25 knot winds out of the northeast and 5-foot seas, 20 knot northerly winds for northern Cook Inlet with 3-foot seas. Kodiak Island, southwesterlies, 20 to 25 knots, seas up to 11 feet. And Sitkinak to Cape Sarachev, south side of the peninsula, small craft advisories, southwesterlies, 30 knots, 14 to 19-foot seas. Much lighter on the Bering Sea side of the peninsula, 15 knots from the southwest right up into and across Bristol Bay. And then for Saturday, we'll go 30-knot winds for Bristol Bay right out of the east and northeast, 25 knots there. for the Bering Sea side of the Alaska Peninsula. Gale warnings out from Cape Sarachev all the way up to Sitkinak, and then south 35 for the east side of Kodiak Island, Shelikof Strait, east winds 30 knots, seas 5 feet. And we've got southwesterly winds, mostly at 25 knots for the central and western Aleutians from Atka all the way out to Shemya, with seas running 12 to 17 feet, highest, out west there. Otherwise, Unmak Island, south to southeast 15 to 20, and south to southwest 20 to 30 knots for Unalaska Island. Outlook for Saturday. Eastern Aleutians, west-northwest, 20 to 25 knots. Central Aleutians, west-southwest at 20 to 25 knots, and 25-knot winds for Amchitka, Kiska to Shimianatu, southwest 20, seas 11 feet. Small craft advisories, Norton Sound, south winds 30 knots, southwest winds at 30 for St. Lawrence Island with 20-foot seas. Gale warnings for the Yukon Delta coast through tomorrow with 17-foot seas. All winds out of the southwest at 30 knots for the Pribilofs, St. Matthew Island, and the Kuskokwim Delta coast. And for the outlook on Saturday, for Norton Sound, south winds at about 20, south 30 knots for St. Lawrence Island. Much lighter for the Yukon Delta coast, 15 out of the southeast, east 20 there for the Kuskokwim Delta. Light northeast winds for the Pribilofs, south 20 for St. Matthew Island. Eastern Beaufort Sea coast, southwest winds at 20 knots tomorrow, south 15 on the central coast. And then small craft advisories for the western Arctic coast, say Point Lay down to Cape Thompson, 30-knot winds, and then gales, Cape Thompson to Wales. We'll have gales at 35 knots with 13-foot seas. Small craft advisories the next day, coming down a little bit, but not much. 30-knot winds from Wales up around the Capes there to Point Lay, and then the central coast, southwest 20. Brisk wind advisories, eastern Beaufort Sea coast, west-southwest at 25. For tonight, again, we've got winter storm warnings and coastal flood warnings out, of course, for the Bering Sea area there, Yukon Kuskokwim Delta coast, St. Lawrence Island, Bering Strait coast. Stays windy, and also for the western Arctic coast, so high surf advisory out. Anyway, snow and blowing snow moving into the interior, winter storm warnings, and they'll be ending from west to east gradually, but looking anywhere from 5 to 8 inches moving in the Fairbanks area later or into tomorrow. Otherwise, another dry night for the Panhandle. Chance of some moisture tomorrow. Breezy, windy, and snowy in the interior.
These forecasts are for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating.